So hi everyone, welcome to my Bloodborne tutorial for complete and utter noobs. If you're a seasoned Dark Souls or Demon Souls player, or you've played some Bloodborne and you're hoping to get a few tips, then you're not in the right place. This is for people who have seen the game reviewed, liked the look of it and thought, I must go and buy it, and then have wondered what they spent their 50 quid on because they can't get into the game at all. And hopefully I'm going to help you get to a state where you can play the game and, like myself, I've just defeated my first beast. And let me show you how to go about getting started in Bloodborne. So yeah, this is a beginner's guide to Bloodborne from a complete noob. Hopefully it's going to help some people out. This is right at the beginning of the game. Whoops, this is right at the beginning of the game. I've just woken up from my transfusion, and I'm just going to cut back really briefly to the character creation screen, which comes back over this, and just to suggest which character type you choose, and then we'll be back. So this is the part of Bloodborne where you create your character, and the only advice I can give you here, apart from putting your name and all that kind of thing, is to choose a particular origin. We're just going to go into here. I've been playing as Lone Survivor, mainly because the vitality for Lone Survivor is the highest, and so that gives you more health during the game, which is kind of handy when you're getting started out. You can actually be any one of these really. The default one's okay, and I can't pronounce it, but I've been going for Lone Survivor because it's got more vitality than anything else. So right, Lone Survivor. This is a tough game, and if you're like me, you would have seen it reviewed. I mean, this game has got some cracking reviews, and I can totally see why. However, it's a nightmare. I've not played Demon Souls or Dark Souls or any of those games for more than like 5-10 minutes. And when you've spent 50 quid on a game, or however many dollars that might be, you really want to get your money's worth. And actually, I've struggled and struggled and struggled to get going on this game. I've actually got into it now, and I've killed the first beast, which is pretty cool. And so I'm actually really enjoying the game now. But it took me a long time to get into it, and all the scouring around the internet I didn't necessarily help me. Bits and pieces, but didn't necessarily help me go from being a complete noob to actually being able to play the game. Now, the controls are fairly straightforward, and if you like targeting and rolling around enemies, then you want to be able to target. Now we've got an enemy just ahead of us, and there's an enemy straight away in the game. This game does not mess about. It really throws you in at the deepest end. And that's okay, I'll explain why in a minute. And R3, so click down right joystick, targets your opponent, and you can do your offensive moves. And when you roll with the circle button, you roll, or you try to roll sideways around your opponent. Right, now, first time I played this, and the second time I played this, I tried to kill the werewolf. And I didn't really manage it, and I don't think I'm going to manage it now, if I'm honest. Gets one more hit on me, I'm going to be dead. And I'm dead. And the thing is, I think the game wanted you to die. Let's be honest, Bloodborne wants you to die all of the time. It is a tough game. But dying right at the beginning takes you to the hub area. And after the inordinately long loading times between levels, which is painful to say the least, you end up here. Now I'm going to let this cutscene run, because it just gives you a very brief introduction to what's going on. Now you need to come here, so whether you do defeat the wolf at the beginning or not, you need to come here, because otherwise you don't have any weapons or any way of doing anything. So we arrived in Hunter's Dream, and you can walk around, and there are actually a lot of tutorial hints in this area. And if we just wander over here and take a check at these notes here, it tells you how to run, and you can wander around the whole of Hunter's Dream, pick up different tips. But the key thing you've got to do to come here to start with is to pick up your weapons. Now this is where we go back to Yarnum, which is cool, and this is where we pick up the weapons. Now you can do whatever research you like on the weapons. We need to hit X, and they're going to offer me a trick weapon, and this is my main weapon. Okay, and I can choose the saw cleaver, the hunter axe, or the threaded cane. Now I've been going with the saw cleaver, it suits my play style. You can research the weapons. I haven't really played any of the other weapons, but the saw cleaver is pretty cool, and that's the one I'm going to pick again. Yeah, I'm going to take that. And we've also got a left-handed weapon, and these are firearms in this game. And you've got hunter's pistol and hunter blunderbuss. I just picked the pistol. They seem to work equal as well from what I've read. Like I say, you can go off and do some more research if you're fussy about your weapons. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to accept the notebook. Okay, now we've got everything we need now to venture back into the world. However, you see, we still just have our fists. If we punch or do our swift attack, it's still with our hands, and that's not good. And it took me ages and ages and ages to work out how you go about doing this. It probably helps to understand that Bloodborne's kind of like an RPG, so you've got stats and HP and all that kind of stuff, and you need to equip your weapons. And to do that, you hit the options button on the PS4 controller, and you go down here into arms, click X, choose the saw cleaver, and there we go. And now you can see it's in my hand. You can see that, yep, it's in my hand. And it's also in that slot there. And then we need to move over to the right hand slots. Let's go here, put the hunter's pistol in. And interestingly enough, as you can see, that's not gone into my hand, and I'll show you why in a minute. While we're in the options menu, a couple of other things you should point out is, notice the game isn't actually paused. Just bear that in mind. I've not really run into problems with that. But if you want to quit the game, and the game saves multiple times, so you don't really need to worry about saving or anything, you need to go to System and choose Exit Game from here, and that will cleanly exit the game. If you don't cleanly exit the game and just go back to the PS4 menu system, it will warn you next time you start a game that you haven't cleared it. And I was wondering how to fix that. But this is how you do it. You exit game here, that saves everything off, and you're good to go. So let's just quickly look around the rest of this system. So we've got our attire here, and we've got 4 pieces of clothing, and we can upgrade these as we go on. And we've also got some quick items, and they'll become useful in a moment. But we have equipped our saw cleaver and our pistol, but we aren't holding the pistol. Now the right arrow button swaps between the 2 right-handed weapons, and the left arrow button swaps between the 2 left-handed weapons. So you can be carrying 2 of each. The other thing to remember is that the trick weapon, your main weapon, has 2 modes. Whoops. So we've got our quick mode, and then we've got our slow attack mode, and it also has a different position. And then basically, so we've extended it, and you can do a slow attack or a fast attack. And it's helpful to note which way round some of these are, because actually when it comes to fighting enemies, you'll need to get your weapon aligned. I've mainly been using the saw cleaver in its shutdown way. It works really well, and don't forget it's the left trigger L2 for the left hand weapon. So okay, we are good to go now. The only other thing I'll quickly show you is the bath messenger. if you come over here, this is where you can buy upgrades and spare potions and stuff. And you just go into Bath Messenger. When you've got enough blood echoes, you can come here and buy some upgrades. So let's go back to Yharnam now. Click on the Yharnam headstone, and then it gives you the locations that are available for you to go back to. We've only got one, so we're going to go back to the first floor sick room, and we're going to wait. And I'll probably cut out the transition here. So I really hope they come up with a fix for the load times, because they are just ridiculous. But we're back in Yharnam now, and we need to go and kill some stuff. One thing you should do before you carry on from here is duck back up these stairs and talk to the character at the top, because she gives you a useful potion. But I'm not going to do that because it's a bit slow. Let's go and sort out this wolf. So we have got target, so R3, and then we've got our slow and our fast moves. So we should just be able to take this out with some fast moves. And there it is down. It's pretty easy to start with, and we've got some blood echoes as well, which is cool. Now, when there's something on the corpse, you'll see a glow coming out of it, and you can walk up to the corpse and search. And we've got a blood vial as well, and the blood vial is a thing that boosts up our HP. Okay, so that's cool. So the wolf's down. There's a few other things in here. Let's just go through here, and there's more notes here to help you with the game. This is a good example. So you can use the triangle button to use a blood vial. Okay, so that will up your health, which is shown in the top left hand corner by the red bar. Let's go and check this guy out. There's more blood vials. So as we pick up blood vials, you'll see we've got 5 up in the top left hand corner, and we've got 10. Those are bullets. So let's head out of here and take a look at Yharnam proper. So you come out into this courtyard area, and there's 2 gates. The one on the right you can't open to start with. There are some useful bits here, so just search that body. More quicksilver bullets. And then head out into Yharnam proper through the gate. Now, I think, and I'm sure that seasoned Dark Souls and Demon Souls players will be able to take them out of here. The game is supposed to be hard, and the game is also all about very careful combat. And what I mean by that is it's about looking at your opponents and working out the best way to attack them. Now, I'm not really sure how well I'm doing, but if you watch this guy, I'm just going to target on him. He is going to run towards me, okay, and he's going to swing his axe there, right? And obviously he's too far away. Now if I get into him while he's stopped, then I can get a load of quick swings in with my weapon without him having any chance of hitting me. And I think that is the whole point of the combat, is to watch for openings and then attack as soon as you can. We'll go along here and we'll check out a couple more enemies. And notice that every time you kill an enemy, you get some more blood echoes, and the blood echoes are on the top right, so I've got 703 at the moment. Let's move along here. There's another enemy here. Target on. And let's stand back from him, because he might run towards me to attack. And he's just going to stand there. So we could use our long weapon here. Take him down. Now as you can see, the initial enemies are not too difficult. When you're locked on, you need to remember to use dodge or roll, and dodge is just the actually it's a step back, is the orange circle, and also if you're locked onto somebody, you can do a sideways dodge with the circle key and the left stick. So we come through here, and there is not really anywhere we can go. We can't go through this gate. It's closed, so we need to go along here. And really, there's no spoilers here. This is really at the very beginning of the game, and you know, this is straightforward stuff. So we've got to climb up here. There's a couple of things I need to show you at the top here, and seem to be key to kind of moving through the game in a more ready fashion. So we come here, and actually there is a lamp here. Let's light that. And what that does is the lamps allow us to go back to Hunter's Dream. Now remember, when you go back to Hunter's Dream, all the enemies respawn. So you have to be a bit careful about when you go back to Hunter's Dream. Totally depends on your playstyle and everything, but all the enemies respawn when you go back to Hunter's Dream. There are two paths through from the top here. This one over here, this direction we're going, and also over here. Now this is the dead end. We can't open this gate. And what this is this is a shortcut to the next area. So basically, once you finish this main part of this area coming up, you should be able to get back round, open this gate, and then you can shortcut past all the enemies. So if you've been back to Hunter's Dream and all the enemies respawn, you come up here and then you can just duck through this gate. And that seems to be a key thing for moving through the game is to find and open all the shortcuts, because otherwise you're going to be constantly traipsing backwards and forwards through the same enemies again and again, which is kind of good because you can farm them for blood echoes and kind of not. So let's pick up the body. So we've got some pebbles now. We searched the body. We didn't pick up the body. We searched the body. Now we've got some pebbles now, and we need to go into options and go down to our quick items. Press X, and then we can add the pebbles to our quick items, and notice it gets the little red highlight on it. And then there in our quick items, you can see they've appeared in the top left hand corner, and I can throw them at enemies, and basically you can use those to distract enemies. When you've got more than one item in your quick item bar, the down arrow key button swaps between the two. As you can see, it's flashing there, but I've got no other choices. Let's wander along here. There's another enemy hiding behind here. Let's tag him. See if he'll charge the wall. Just notice there, he's completely vulnerable there. So, and these enemies are pretty straightforward to dispose of, if I'm honest. It doesn't last long though, I'll tell you that for nothing. And you'll be coming back through, you'll die, and you'll come back through and have to clear these enemies down again. So let's go and sort this guy out. And if you can get your attack in, and you can get your attack timed at just the right point, you can take these enemies out really easily. There's a body to search. Let's do that. Okay, now I want to show you two things now. Notice that there's 4 enemies in a big bunch there. I wouldn't recommend trying to take them on as a big group. At this stage of the game, you really need to be doing 1 or maybe 2 enemies at a time. If we wander back down here, I want to show you something else. There is a big enemy in here. That enemy is tough and will probably own you as soon as you try to attack him the first time. Once you've got used to the combat, it's worthwhile coming back and destroying that guy because he's worth a few blood echoes. Let's open this gate, and this is here we go. We open this gate, and this is all about. This is partly to do with the shortcuts, right? Because you now don't have to go through the roof, over the roof and around that bit if you don't need to. When you die, you can just come back through here. Bearing in mind that either way, enemies respawn, so you know you're still going to have to wade through the enemies. Now let's see if we can try and pick some of the enemies off one at a time. Let's wander up here, and I'm not going to go too far because I don't want to give any of the level away really. I don't think there's a guy left up here, is there? No. So what I'll do is I'll show you something else which is key to the game if you want to understand the backstory. See this lantern here? These lanterns, where you find these lanterns, they show you NPC interactions, and you can, in this one, knock on the door. And then they talk to you. There's a lot of backstory in terms of the NPC characters. I don't really know whether you have to do any of the NPC work at all. But there we go. Now we just searched that body and we picked up some Molotovs, which is kind of cool because we can add those to our quick bar. So let's go into options. If I can get the right button, there we go. Options, along to the quick bar, choose the second slot, add the Molotovs. Okay. And now with the down arrow, that swaps between Molotovs and pebbles. Okay. So we're going to keep the pebbles lined up for the time being. Now we've got one dude there, he spotted me, right? So they do spot you if you're not careful. I'm just going to take him out. Oh, he set me on fire, but I'm good. I'm good. Now, there is a mechanic which enables you to get some of your HP back when you've been hit. Now, in the top left-hand corner, you've got the two bars, the red bar with your health, and the green bar is your stamina. When you get hit, the white end of the red bar goes down, but it stays orange for a little bit. And if you can hit the enemy that's done you that damage in that time, then you can gain some of your HP back. A lot of people explain it much better, so go and have a look at some of the other tips and tricks from some of the bigger channels that will tell you how that mechanism works. Now we've got this one guy on his own. He's seen us, great, and he's got a different kind of weapon, so it's worthwhile watching how he attacks. So let's center on him. Oh, got me. But notice how he's vulnerable straight away, and I managed to get some of my hit points back by attacking him. Let's go down here. And all these guys are coming towards us. Now we don't really want to attack all 4 or 5 of them. There are 5 of them. So let's get out of the way and wait till they've gone past. And then we'll see if we can pick off one from behind. And that's the best way to thin out the crowd, basically. And like I say, this game is supposed to be hard. I didn't expect it to be quite so difficult to get started. The game really tells you nothing about what it is you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't tell you even how to equip your weapons, right? The little tutorial notes of through Hunter's Dream tell you what each of the buttons does, and that's about it. So let's sneak down here, and if you go slowly, nobody will notice you. And I'm going to use the target and target that guy, and I'm going to use square to throw one of my pebbles. So that guy will now see me, and he'll run back on his own. Notice I dodged out of the way then, took him out. And so that way you can thin out the crowd quite easily, quite readily, by pinging stones at them. Notice that there's another lantern there, and you can get some NPC interaction there. Now, I don't really want to go too much further, because we don't want to... Yeah, I do. Okay, we're just going to go around this corner. Now, that whole crowd, and you can see under the coach, they're coming back this way, so we might need to finish them off before we go around there, because there's one other thing I want to show you. Let's see if we can encourage some of them up a bit further. Bit of a stone. And yeah, we've got that one guy. Okay. Oh, he got me. But he's good, right. Now we probably need to get some health back, so let's hit triangle, and that gives me a blood vial, and that puts my HP back up. Now we've got these two guys here. They've seen me, so they should attack. So we'll take that guy out. Oh, that guy barged me, but should be able to take him out as well. Good stuff, right. So they're all down, and that's given us free reign to go through. Let's just search this corpse, because that'll be something useful. Now, each of the main items in the top left hand corner, blood vials and quicksilver bullets, there's a maximum of 20 that you can carry. Any extras that you gather, they get stored in Hunter's Dream. So even though I was already at 20 there and I picked up another 2, they've gone into storage, they haven't been wasted, which is kind of a cool mechanic. So we're just going to go around the corner here, and there's a guy asleep here, and it takes him ages to wake up. You have to go right up to him, and I'm just going to chop him away with the sword there, because why the hell not? I've got to search the corpse. Okay, we're going to go up here and along here. Now up these steps there is a guy here, and he will surprise attack us like that. I should be able to take him out and get some of my hit points back. And this body here has something useful. This is a bloodstone shard, and this is the one thing that you keep when you die. Seems to be the one thing. Your other equipment, but things like your blood vials. If I die now, I'll have 11 blood vials. I won't go back to the number of blood vials I had earlier on in the game, you know, like the last time I saved. We can carry on along here and go through the first area, but what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go back to Hunter's Dream. The reason I'm going to do that is because right at the beginning of the game, if you're dying all the time, you're kind of losing your blood echoes. Now, there's not a single... Oh, I might be able to. Right, let me show you something else. Right, we're going to die on purpose now, if we can. Because there is a guy here. Let's see if he can take me out. Okay, I'm dead. Now, when you die, you get instantly transported back to Hunter's Dream, but you lose all your blood echoes. Okay, so I'll keep my blood vials and my quicksilver bullets and anything that's in storage, and I'll keep my weapons and any upgrades that I've done, but I will lose all my blood echoes. Now, the blood echoes are the currency for the game, so if you don't have any blood echoes, you will you will not be able to buy upgrades and stuff like that. So it's kind of important to keep an eye on your blood echoes. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut, and I'm going to come back roughly around the same part of the level as I was before, and show you something that's useful to know. Okay, right, so we're back where we were before, and I just want to show you how you can get your blood echoes that you lost back. So this is the guy that killed us. Let's tag him and kill him. There we go. So because he was the guy that killed us, and we just killed him again, we got our blood echoes back. So we're back up to 1700 blood echoes, which is kind of cool. We've got ourselves into a bit of a situation, but we're going to go back to Hunter's Dream now. Nobody's following us, so we're good to go. We can take the stuff from the corpse. Got a couple of guys there. Take those out. Grab this. Okay, now, I didn't clear out these guys up here, but this is the quickest way back to... Oh, no, it's not. We've only got one guy here. This is the quickest way back to Hunter's Dream. Let's take this guy out. He's down. Didn't drop anything useful, though. So let's go along here and back up the ladder. Now, bear in mind, this is basically a total balancing act, depending on how good you are at the game, how you want to play. But basically, because the blood echoes, they go when you die, and sometimes you don't get them back, right? Sometimes you can get them back all the time, I think, but sometimes, depending on how good you are, you might die again and you're going to lose them. So, spending them when you've got them is my current strategy. And to spend blood echoes, you need to be in Hunter's Dream, and we're going to go there now. So we're back in Hunter's Dream, and the first thing I've done when I've got some blood echoes to spend is I've gone and upgraded my armour. So we can trade here, go into acquire, and then you've got all the different types of things you can buy across the top here. We've got consumables, materials, keys, right hand weapons and left hand weapons. We haven't got any spares that we can buy, but we do have some attire, and this has better this is better attire than the attire that we're wearing. So I'm going to spend 1,000 blood echoes on the Yarnum Hunter garb. Yep. And I'm also going to get the cap, because that's cool. Okay, notice we're down to 385 blood echoes now. We could, if we wanted to, go back and buy a blood vial, but actually we've got 12 blood vials. We should be good to go. Okay, so go and leave, and I'm still wearing all my old stuff. Okay, so I need to do exactly the same as I did when I was equipping my weapons, and go into the options and down to attire and swap caps. There we go, I've got my cap back on now. I've got my cap on now, which is cool. And I've got my Yarnum Hunter Garb as well. Okay, now I've got, basically that's changed my stats because I've got more basically armor now. While we're on this subject, we can go into here, and there's quite a lot of story. If you go and have a chat with that guy, he tells you about everything here. But this is storage here, and you can store a lot of stuff here. I could go along here and put my where are we? My other attire. I could store that by pressing OK and then storing it in the storage. It seems you have a lot of inventory space, so I don't know how much of an issue that's going to become as we go forward. So what have we done? We've died because this is Bloodborne. We have picked up some weapons from Hunter's Dream. We've learned how to equip them, which is key. Then we've killed some guys, and then we've died again because this is Bloodborne. And we've come back to Hunter's Dream. We've retrieved our blood echoes, which is kind of handy. And then we've come back here and we've spent our blood echoes on some useful armor. Now, the last thing I want to show you, and it's nothing to do with Bloodborne at all, is I found that having the R1 button as my main weapon, main quick weapon, wasn't ideal for the way I hold a controller. I'll be honest, I'm much more used to Xbox and Xbox One controllers, and you always have the triggers as the main weapons, and then the shoulder buttons or the one buttons on the PS4 controller as like kind of secondary weapons like grenades and stuff like that. And I found that trying to spam the R1 button just didn't fit well with the way my hands sit on the controller. And also the R1 buttons have this problem where they jam down. So the one buttons, so I have no idea how this happens, but you know, this controller must have gone through hours and hours of testing how they didn't find that some people, depending on how they hold the controller, catch the R1 and L1 buttons down, so they're stuck down, is beyond me. So what I did was I used the PlayStation 4 feature, which I'm going to show you now. So let's just go back here and go up to the menu bar and go to settings and go all the way down to accessibility and choose button assignments, and then enable custom buttons. So you need to check that, and then you can customize button assignments, and you can see there on the little diagram it's put up, I've swapped R1 with R2. So basically now my main quick weapon attack is the trigger, and my slow weapon attack is the shoulder button, and that will work so much better for me. I'm so much used to using the triggers as the kind of spam quick fire button. I found that really useful, and I hope that helps. Let's just go back to Bloodborne because it's so stunning looking. And we're back in Hunter's Dream. So listen everybody, hopefully that's got you started. I went from being a total and utter beginner with this game to poking around. I did look at some tutorials on YouTube and they didn't give me basic enough stuff. So hopefully this has been basic enough for some other people as well. And I've got on a bit better with the game. It's still a struggle. It's still tough for me as a complete beginner to this style of game. I still die all the time, but at least I know that I'm making progress. And I actually managed to get through to the first beast. And I killed it the first go as well. I was dead chuffed. And I tell you what, the sense of satisfaction when you've killed one of the bigger enemies is amazing. It really makes the effort worthwhile, and you kind of really think you're getting into the game. I'm sure it's going to get tougher from now on, but there we go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully we might get back to Bloodborne in a minute, and I really hope they come up with a fix for this loading time. I am enjoying Bloodborne immensely. It is a cracking game, it looks stunning, and I hope this tutorial has been helpful. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I'll be back in soon with some more help. And I'm off now to die. Cheers.